Who knows, a friendly little visit like this could be the start of something. You're walking along the street, or you're at a party.
Or else you're alone, and then you suddenly dig. You're looking in someone's eyes, you suddenly realize that this could be the start of something big.
Hey, Kim here. I'm back today to continue my deep dive into the year of 1965 in television. Over the first half of the week, the general trend has been CBS dominance thanks to shows like Green Acres, Petticoat Junction, and the Beverly Hillbillies. As we cruise into Thursday night, things are continuing much in the same way as we saw it on Wednesday. There's lots to love and tons to enjoy, but at the same time, we can see the push and pull of competition here. Thursday night gives us some truly interesting matchups with a wide variety of hits and misses. The night opens up with the networks counting on a certain tone. ABC started off with the musical variety series Shindig. Looking at the history of the show, it was in a chronic state of transition. The show had changed format repeatedly over its run, from a half hour to an hour, and at this point, a half hour twice a week. The market was wide open for variety shows during this period, with a plethora of acts appealing to young people. However, as we'll soon discuss, the show had hefty competition in the spot and would eventually be canceled at mid-season. Thursday proves to be identical to Wednesday nights. As mid-season rolled around, ABC slid the second night of Batman into the time slot. While the action series only lasted 3 seasons, it remains an iconic part of culture in the United States. Adam West and Burt Ward's performances are comfortable, nostalgic, and will always be remembered. Meanwhile, CBS kept a very similar tone, bringing the second and final season of The Munsters. The situation comedy starred Fred Gwynne, Yvonne DiCarlo, Al Lewis, Butch Patrick, and Pat Priest as a family who look eerily familiar to the Universal Monsters. Then there's their quirky niece Marilyn. The Munsters is such a fun show, and this is why it's another show that we still remember. Like Wednesday night, NBC was the outlier in terms of content, airing what would be the second season of Daniel Boone. The nostalgic drama featured Fess Parker in the titular role. The series was just starting a long run and would remain on the network until the 1970s. While Daniel Boone continued on NBC, the networks continued with their half-hour situation comedy programming. ABC started with the final season of the long-running perennial classic, The Donna Reed Show. The series starred Donna Reed, Carl Betts, Shelley Fabre, and Paul Peterson, and followed the Stone family, led by pediatrician patriarch Alex, through their domestic adventures. The series premiered in 1958 and had been a continually strong performer, even after a transition caused by Fabre's early departure in 1963. While she did recur occasionally, the series brought in Paul Peterson's real-life younger sister Patty in the role of Tricia, an orphan adopted by the Stone family. Donna Reed Show came to an end in March and was replaced by the remainder of the network's episodes of Gidget. The series, which followed the plucky teenage surfer Gidget, starred Sally Fields in the titular role. The series had initially premiered on Wednesday nights, but struggled opposite the Beverly Hillbillies. Gidget unfortunately just couldn't catch a break. While it was finally rid of the power of the Clampett family, it moved in opposite the second season of this little show.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. The ship's aground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle, with Gilligan, the skipper too, a millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Mary Ann, here on Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island really doesn't need much of an introduction from me. The series had been immortalized in popular culture. Even in the rare event you haven't seen an episode, you still know about Gilligan, the skipper, and their 3-hour tour on the SS Minnow. The series starred Bob Denver, Alan Hale, Jim Backus, Natalie Schaefer, Russell Johnson, Don Wells, and Tina Louise as the infamous castaways. The show would run on the network for another season before being canceled in 1967. Starting the next hour block, the tone of the night stayed relatively steady. NBC followed Dan O'Boon with the debut season of the hour-long western Laredo. The series followed the adventures of 3 Texas Rangers in the Old West and starred Neville Brand, Peter Brown, and William Smith. The show would receive 2 full seasons before its cancellation in 1967. Meanwhile, CBS ran with yet another perennial classic, and one you've undoubtedly heard of, My Three Sons. The long-running family sitcom was in a bit of a transition at this point. This was the show's first year on CBS, having aired on ABC for its first 4 seasons. The production was also going through a number of casting changes. It was only midway through the previous season that William Demers joined the show to replace the ailing William Frawley. Meanwhile, actor Tim Considine, who played eldest son Mike, departed the show in the season premiere to be replaced by, you guessed it, a plucky young orphan played by Barry Livingston. While there was a lot going on, as you probably already know, don't fret for My Three Sons. The show would continue to air through 1972. So, after all this, you know what's coming. Poor ABC still had a show which needed to run. The network put forward the first and only season of OK Crackerby. The series starred national treasure Burl Ives, Brooke Adams, Brian Corcoran, and Dick Ferran. According to the episode descriptions, the series followed Ives as OK Crackerby, the richest man in the world. However, he's a bit rough and tumble in respect to polite society. Yeah, I hear it too. The network was trying to compete with the Beverly Hillbillies. The show was quickly canceled. The show was replaced at mid-season by another deep cut on the network, The Double Life of Henry Fife. The series starred comedian Red Buttons in the titular role as a mild-mannered accountant who becomes an international man of mystery. The series unfortunately only received a half season before it was canceled. While NBC aired the second half of Laredo and CBS transitioned into the Thursday night movie, ABC had a wide open opportunity to catch their breath after the CBS dominance of the rest of the night. Bewitched sees ABC reaching the same status of legendary dominance of the CBS shows we saw in the rest of the night. Everyone knows that nose twitch. The series starred Elizabeth Montgomery as Samantha Stevens, a woman trying to get by in mid-20th century suburbia without everyone figuring out that she is indeed a witch. The series co-starred Dick York and Agnes Moorehead. The show was just in its second season at this point and would run a grand total of 8 seasons on the network before its eventual cancellation. Over on CBS, the Thursday night movie was in mid-run, so ABC followed up the dominance of Bewitched with another show we've already heard quite a lot about this season.
This is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
Peyton Place. As I've already mentioned, the primetime soap was entering its second season and aired 3 times a week in half-hour installments. Meanwhile, NBC aired the first and only season of Mona Mccleskey. The sitcom starred Juliette Prowse and Denny Scott Miller as a young couple struggling to get by on the husband's Air Force salary while his wife was a professional actress. The series was canceled in the spring. As the night came to a close, CBS was still wrapping up the Thursday night movie. Over on NBC, they had the debut season of The Dean Martin Show. The series, while being virtually impossible to find in syndication, has proven to hold a fondness in the pop culture memory for oh so many reasons. The gold diggers, the celebrity guests, Dean Martin's delightful persona. The variety show would continue on the network until 1972. Meanwhile, ABC started the night with The Long Hot Summer. We discussed this show in our Wednesday night video. The character drama starred Edmund O'Brien was moved to Wednesday night time slot after Burke's Law came to an end. The The Long Hot Summer was replaced in the time slot by a show called The Baron. The show starred Steve Forrest as an undercover agent masquerading as an antique dealer. The show co-starred Sue Lloyd and Paul Ferris. By and large, I'd say CBS walked away with the win once again, thanks to this combination of The Munsters, Gilligan's Island, and My Three Sons. The power of these shows cements what I would say is the narrative carnage which was left in their wake. Gidget had fled Wednesday nights in the competition with the Beverly Hillbillies just to end up on Thursdays against Gilligan. That's just mean. At the same time, My Three Sons came out victorious against not only one, but two ABC shows. Like Wednesday night, though, it seems like the competition was really just between CBS and ABC. While all this was going on, NBC was off in their own little world with the action series Daniel Boone and Laredo. While Westerns were by and large starting to disappear from the mainstream lineup, they were still alive and well over on NBC. We have lots of television still to come. Stay tuned as I talk about Friday. If you think the last 2 days in the lineup have been busy, the shows hitting the airwaves on Fridays are equally as packed. Stay tuned for more here at Ticklish Business as we honor and deconstruct the world of classic entertainment. My name is Kim. You can find me on Twitter at ticklish_biz as well as at kpierce624. Facebook person, give us a like or a follow over at Ticklish Business Podcast. We have lots of classic entertainment content posting at journeysinclassicfilm.com. As always, if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.